Hopefully no one is kneeling. Wonder if we have Colin Kaepernick in the building, right? What's up, everyone? Mr. McDonald here from McDonald Gaming. Now you're back with the Atlanta Hawks MyLeague Season 2 opening night here in Houston, taking on James Harden, Chris Paul, and the Houston Rockets. Here are your starting lineups. Colin Sexton making his NBA debut, Julius Randle making his Hawks debut, and all the players on the Rockets were on the roster last year. And Schroeder, Prince, and John Collins will still be in the starting lineup like last year. So without further ado, John Collins and Clint Capella will tip it off. Dwayne Dedmon is no longer the starting center. He is going to be coming off the bench as the tip goes to John Collins and the Atlanta Hawks. As Season 2 of the Hawks MyLeague is underway, both teams in their statement unis today as Colin Sexton gives it to the new signee Julius Randle, and Randle with a quick start, making his first career basket as a Hawk. Starting off tonight's game with a quick 4-0 lead as Chris Paul is guarded by Dennis Schroeder. He will find James Harden. Harden over to Ariza. Ariza owns tipped and stolen by Collins. Taurean Prince was one with the tip, and Taurean Prince with a one-handed jam. And the Hawks are going to start tonight's game off with a nice 6-0 lead. Harden guarded by the 4th overall pick from Alabama, Colin Sexton. There's no defense from Sexton right there, and the Rockets are now on the board. Already is a basket. He finds Colin Sexton. Sexton over to John Collins. Collins back to Sexton. Sexton over to Randle. Randle over to Taurean Prince. Prince over to Colin Sexton. His first career shot is a 3-ball for the rookie Colin Sexton. Guarded by Sexton. Harden nifty behind the back pass. Back to Harden. And Harden, I believe, has all 6 points so far for the Rockets. The Rockets are already starting to dip in Atlanta's lead. Sexton's wide open for 3. Green release. Colin Sexton, good start for his young career. 2 for 2 from 3. A lot of subs in for the Atlanta Hawks. Julius Randle, the only starter left in. And new players making their Hawks debut who are in the game are Terry Rozier and Norman Powell. Caris LeVert, who was a starter last year, will give it to the former Raptor Norman Powell. Powell back to LeVert. As Julius Randle now. 3 of these 5 players were not on the roster last year. As Terry Rozier, his first shot as an Atlanta Hawk, will go in. Left in the first quarter. Hawks up by 4. Terry Rozier. Over to LeVert. LeVert. Back to Rozier. Rozier at the buzzer. Nope. And that's how your first quarter will end. In a defensive battle, your score Hawks 19, Rockets 15. The quarter's now underway so far. A defensive battle in the making. Hawks 19, Rockets 15. As Michael Bridges, the rookie from Villanova, on Eric Gordon. Jackson guarded by Rozier. Jackson with the pull-up jumper off, rebounded by Yabusele, who was on the roster for a couple months last year after being acquired on a trade deadline deal from Boston. As Caris LeVert will miss the easy shot, which is kind of hard to miss, but he somehow screwed it up. Troy Daniels, the former Grizzly, in at shooting guard, he will also miss a very easy shot. Rozier with the board, that's his second of the game. Over to Michael Bridges, his first career shot is a miss, but Dwayne Dedmon back to Michael Bridges, and Michael Bridges will get the John Collins will inbound it to Schroeder. Schroeder, Collins, and Taurean Prince back in for Atlanta. Collins trying to drive on Capella. He finds Taurean Prince, who got a bucket off of a dunk earlier, and a nice layup from the former Baylor Bear, Taurean Prince. It's been a physical, low-scoring second quarter, 3 minutes in. I believe the Hawks have only outscored them 5-4 so far. As Sexton on Daniels. He gives it to P.J. Tucker. Tucker back to Daniels. Daniels. Good defense from Sexton, but not good enough. It's going to be an and one for Troy Daniels. Sexton was the one with the foul. A big play from Troy Daniels, and it'll most likely be an only 2-point game. Schroeder, he's going to give it to Julius Randle, who's just checked into the game. He's going to give it off to John Collins. Collins will be stolen by Capella over to Chris Paul. Paul tipped by Collins, and Collins is going to have to get on the ground to get that one. Sexton picked it up. Julius Randle will miss the layup. Another missed layup, as Harden will drive on John Collins, and a beautiful dunk from Harden, just destroying John Collins. Looking at the stats, Harden, of course, leading the Rockets with 13 points, but the next highest point total on the Rockets is 2 points. As Sexton will miss for 3. Powell almost put it back up. Sexton has had a solid game. Could have been better. As Ariza guarded by Powell. Ariza over to James Harden. Harden with a lob for Capella, but it's intercepted by John Collins. Sexton with it. He gives it to Collins. Collins back to Sexton. Sexton over to an open Norman Powell in the corner. I mean, he wasn't really open, but has 0 points. As Harden's the only one with more than 2. As Paul will miss another shot. I believe he's 0 for 3 now. Sexton, who has 2 assists so far. Over to Schroeder, hoping to make it 3 assists. And indeed it will. Schroeder on Chris Paul. He gives it to Harden. Harden over to an open Trevor Ariza. And Trevor Ariza will get the 3-pointer to go. A lot of backups in for the Hawks. Not really the Rockets with Harden and Paul still in. As Powell over to a wide open Karis LeVert. He ain't missing that. Bringing it up. About 23, 22 seconds left in the first half. Hawks up by 5 is Chris Paul, who just hit a 3, but I didn't show. Will now hit a mid-ranger. Now it's 5. Now over your score. Hawks 36, Rockets 33. A little surprised to see Atlanta up in a very low-scoring physical defensive game. Minus James Harden. He's been insane with scoring. Now starting. Hawks up by 3. James Harden and the Rockets will start with the ball here in the third quarter. As Harden, guarded by Colin Sexton, who had 6 points and 3 assists in the first half. Harden 13, 2 and 2 in the first half. Now it's only a 1-point game. Dennis Schroeder trying to get by Chris Paul over to Randall, who's had a few turnovers so far. Over to John Collins, and Collins finally gets his first basket in his second season. Capella on Collins. Capella will miss his shot, rebounded by Collins. Over to Colin Sexton. Sexton with the 3 ball, no good. That's his second missed 3 of the game. I believe he's 2 for 4. From a land of far, far away is Ariza wide open, and the Rockets will tie it up. Really starting to struggle now, shooting in the second half. Is Sexton with the board, his first of his career. Over to John Collins. John Collins with the monster slam dunk. Collins with the slammer and jammer. Chris Paul. Schroeder's been pretty quiet today. As Prince on Ariza over to Paul. Paul with the lob for Capella, who's just going to miss it. Lobs have not been too successful today for Houston, as Sexton over to John Collins. Collins over to Schroeder. Schroeder over to Colin Sexton. Sexton, bad shot, and it still goes in anyway. Schroeder on Demetrius Jackson. He finds Capella. Capella over to Demetrius Jackson with an easy layup. Not great defense from Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder over to Bridges, who has 1 basket so far in his NBA career. As Yabusele over to an open Michael Bridges, who should have shot in that, but he's not going to not shoot that. Is another 3 for Michael Bridges. Guarded by Prince over to Jackson. Jackson guarded by Rozier. Jackson over to Harden. Harden for 3 in the lead, and it's in. Norman Powell guarded by Eric Gordon. Powell over to Dedmon. Dedmon over to Rozier. Rozier over to Karis LeVert. LeVert with the miss. Prince with the board. And Prince with the putback. A minute left in the third quarter. Hawks up by 1. Harden guarded by LeVert. Harden over to Demetrius Jackson. Jackson will almost get blocked by what looked like a flying Dwayne Dedmon. Yes, there are these birds called Dwayne Dedmon. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Dwayne Dedmon. As Terry Rozier over to Norman Powell, wide open in the corner. And a corner splash for Norman Powell. By LeVert over to Tucker, over to a wide open Demetrius Jackson. And this whole game has been close. Rockets up by 1. As Randall, almost stolen, finds an open Norman Powell, who will miss to start off the fourth and most likely final quarter. We'll see. Harden's wide open, which I don't get that. Powell on Eric Gordon. Gordon! It was Eric Gordon who made that 3, not Demetrius Jackson, but they look identical, literally. As Powell guarded by Gordon. Over to Rozier. Rozier, bad shot. He's going to miss it. And that's how your quarter will most likely end. Oh, he made it. Okay, wow. Wow. Harden with a three-quarter shot. Did that go? I think that went up. Let's see. It might have not. I can't see the clock. I need to see the clock. I don't know if it's... I don't know. I don't know. That was very close. That was impressive to say the least. And the play will something. And it looks like they're going to overturn it. So it's only going to be a 1-point lead for the Rockets as we enter the fourth. The Hawks, no double-digit scores as Prince, LeVert, and Sexton all have 8. So no one with 10-plus points, which is a bit surprising. As Rozier on Chris Paul, over to Anderson. Anderson over to Ariza. Ariza, guarded by 2 people now, finds a wide-open Ryan Anderson, who will miss it. Rebounded by Randall. Over to Colin Sexton. Sexton over to Karis LeVert. LeVert with the mid-ranger. It's good. And he is the first Hawk with double-digit. On Paul over to Trevor Ariza. Ariza guarded by Karis LeVert. Ariza over to Ryan Anderson. Another miss from Anderson. Rebounded by, I believe that was Dwayne Dedman. Over to Sexton. Over to a wide-open Karis LeVert. And Karis LeVert is now red hot. When he is hot, he is hot. 5 minutes left. Your score, Hawks 61. Rockets 61. Julius Randle for 3. And it's in, even though it wasn't even a 3. Well, I'm stupid. 8. So let's look at Sexton's stats. He has 8 points, 7 assists, 1 rebound. Not particularly shooting the ball well, but good passing. Not a bad game from Sexton. Definitely a lot of room to improve, but certainly a pretty good game from the rookie, as Sexton now has double-digit points. Guarded by Randall over to Chris Paul. He's going to be stolen by Terry Rozier, and Rozier is going to take it the distance, and the Hawks are now up by 6. Ariza with the ball. Ariza on a transition mission as under the basket. Nice defense from Randall. But Ryan Anderson is wide open, and it's a 1-point game. By 1, they just said Colin Sexton was the player of the game. I think John Collins has done a little better. I know the scoring hasn't really been there for John Collins, but other than that, he's done really well passing it, rebounding it, as another bucket for John Collins. But Sexton's been pretty good. Could be better, but not a bad day. 2 minutes left. Atlanta up by 1. Paul guarded by Schroeder. Paul. It's going to be a lob for Clint Capella, and the Rockets take the lead. Under 2 minutes to go in regulation. It's another lob, but it's intercepted by Taurean Prince. Over to Schroeder. Wide open in the corner. And the 3 for Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder, it's stolen by Collins. Over to Schroeder. Over to Julius Randle. Randle on the drive with the layup, and the Hawks are now up by 6. He's going to inbound it. He's going to look for Harden. About a minute left. Anderson finds an open Chris Paul. The Rockets need a basket this possession, but it's intercepted by Prince. Once again, it's Schroeder now with it, and Schroeder will make it an 8-point game and probably out of reach for Houston. What's your game, folks? Is Michael Bridges going to go for 1 last shot, and it's no good. But this game is over, and the Hawks, for the 2nd straight season, will be victorious on opening day by a final score of 82-74. Very curious who's going to win player of the game. As I said, I think it should be John Collins. However, Sexton's a solid option. Schroeder scored a lot towards the end, and it's not going to show me. Great. Hope you guys enjoyed. Next episode will be out soon. Peace. And tell me who you think deserves to win player of the game.